it kind of goes into like a fraction. So for the 6 to the power negative 2, it was 1 over 36.
Okay, so you're saying you notice the fraction happening from the 6 to the negative 2 example? Okay. So what is 6 squared?
36.
So would you agree that this is all equal?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's it called when I flip something in math like that?
Reciprocal.
Yeah. I'm about 60% sure I spelled that right. So, the negative exponent looks like means the reciprocal. Let's test it out with another one I gave you. Let's go to number 8 on that exploration sheet. We had 2 over x squared to the negative 2. So, in theory, negative exponent means reciprocal. So, follow me here. Would that mean that this is true then? Yeah, I flipped it, right?
Well, shouldn't it still be 2 the negative?
No, because
No,
I got
you're
rid
right.
of the
No, that's
negative.
right. That's right.
Okay, so let's test this out. X squared squared is x to the 4th. 2 squared is 4. Sweet. So that one checked out. Negative exponent means reciprocal. Let's look at this one. 1 over 3 to the negative 3rd. So if we take this further, negative exponent means reciprocal. That would mean that this is equal to 3 to the 3rd, which is 27. Cool. Looks like it checks out. Now, here's something I'm going to write really big, because kids still do this, even though I tell them this is not. What do you notice about negatives and answers? So negative exponents, okay, is the start of my statements. Did the negative exponents make any answers negative?
No.
Okay. So negative exponents have nothing to do with positive or negative answers. When we're talking exponents, it's all based on the base and the exponent being odd or even. The negative exponent only means reciprocal. If I'm flipping stuff, does it change positive or negative? I don't know. So negative exponent has 0, zip, zilch, nada, nothing to do with positive or negative answers. It only means reciprocal. So those 2 extension problems, the try it out problems. Anybody like to talk me through what they got for 4 to the negative 2? Will.
Okay. So, for 4 to the negative 2, you could think of it as the same thing as 1/4 to the second.
Well, yeah.
To the second power.
1 over 4 squared.
1 over 4 squared. And then 4 squared is 16, which would give you 1/16.
Yeah. Okay, so negative exponent only means reciprocal, nothing to do with positive or negative. Let's check out your other example I gave you on there that I already did with you. So, I want to show you this one. We're going to try this one out together so you can see. Remember, as we've been working on these exponent things, I keep talking about the intermediate step, right? That little problem we're going to solve first. So if I have something like this, right, it looks like a lot going on, right? Looks like a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute my cube right there. So 4 times 4 times 4, 64, x to the negative 9, x to the negative 1. So this isn't the answer. This is that little intermediate step that I talk about, breaking down a bigger problem into smaller problems. Now, when I have the product property here, what can I do with my x to the negative 9, x to the negative 1? How do I combine those? I have negative 9 factors of x and negative 1 factors of x. That's a total of how many factors?
It's just negative 9.
Negative 10.
I mean 9.
Negative
Negative 8.
10.
Wait, what?
So
Because
I can add exponents when I have additional factors, right? Okay. This is the product property. Okay. So we want answers, though, our simplified answers, to always have positive exponents. So how can I make that exponent positive? Reciprocal. So I always say, I don't know why, throwing stuff upstairs or throwing it downstairs. Okay. Now, 64. This is the most common mistake I see right here. The most common wrong answer. Most common wrong answer. What's 64's exponent?
0 or 1.
1. So 64 and x to the negative 10th are not magically attached, right? So what I like to do, this is organizational. When I have this negative exponent like this, I like to circle that part and like do an arrow saying I'm going to throw that in the basement for my simplified answer of 64 x to the 10th. 64 stays upstairs because 64 has a positive 1 exponent. Again, did the exponent turn anything negative? No. And the way we turn an exponent positive is by doing reciprocal. That's it. Throwing it upstairs or downstairs. Okay? You have to be pretty strong to throw something upstairs, though, depending on how heavy it is. If you're short, it's come back down at you. Think about that.
How many stairs are there?
I guess that's true. I'm imagining a solid 12, but that's just my head, you know. So let's look at another one. I want you guys to do this one along with me on your notes page. Find some room somewhere. It's going to look like there's a lot going on because there is. Okay. And I'm just going to show you that, again, this is a big problem. I'm not even thinking answer at all. I'm thinking, what are some little problems I can start attacking in this? And so I'm seeing here, and there's more than one way to go about this. I'm going to choose to do that portion. 2 to the 4th power, 2, 4, 8, 16. P to the negative 4 to the 4th is p to the negative 16 times 3p squared. So I just made it a little simpler. Now here there's a couple options. You could distribute your square to everything on the inside. I personally am going to choose to simplify everything in my parentheses first. So I got 16 times 3, so that's 48. P to the negative 16th times p squared is p to the negative 14. What happens if I told you the reason that's p to the negative 14th is because of the quotient rule as well? Check this out. This is a thought bubble. So we know the product rule, we can add them, right? So negative 16 plus 2 is negative 14. The reason that works is p squared would actually be in the numerator and p to the 16th is kind of in the denominator because of the negative. And 2 of these cancel 2 of these, which is like 14 in the denominator, which is why that's a negative 14. Anyway, that's just a little thought connection. All this stuff's actually intertwined, right? Which is kind of cool. So there's my insides of the parentheses, and I'm still going to raise that to the second. So I still don't have an answer, right? I'm just showing them, breaking my big problem down into little problems. Who's got a calculator handy? 48 squared, slightly less than 2,500. 2304. And I got a p to the negative 28. Now what is to the negative 28 in this expression?
P.
Just p. All right? So this, I like to just do like an arrow saying I got to send that downstairs to become positive. And that leaves me with 2,304 over p to the 28th. Okay? And that would be my simplified answer. Again, there's like a lot of places to mess up, a lot of stuff to keep in mind. But any one step, right, it's one of those things where I know you can follow the teacher and it like makes sense, right? When you're on your own, it is a little harder. So what you really need to do is really do a great job in this area so that if something's wrong, we can handle it. Because I'll be able to find it, you'll be able to find it. There's just a lot of places to make a mistake. And ultimately, all we're doing is multiplying, adding, subtracting, divide. It's just a lot of places to mess up. So think those big ideas. What does this look like if I expand? Why does it work? If you just memorize when it looks like this add, when it looks like this multiply, it's going to be real tough, all right? Especially when we get these things like number 10 on your homework that take multiple steps. All right. So let's get after it.